Personal testimonies reflect individual experiences of Advocare independent distributors and are not necessarily typical of the results you may obtain. Weight loss varies with individual effort, body composition, eating patterns, and exercise. If you have a medical condition or are pregnant or nursing, Advocare recommends that you consult your healthcare professional before starting an Advocare product regimen. Earnings depend on a number of factors, including your individual effort and the area in which you live. The results described here are substantially in excess of the average results achieved by all distributors during the same time period. Enjoy today's call.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and my name is Danny McDaniel, and I am joining you on this phone call right now from Coppell, Texas in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and I'm an independent distributor in Advocare, and my wife Diane and I, we've been independent distributors for 17 years, and I'm your host for the call tonight. And really, you know, you probably saw the communication flyer where you were able to, you know, click on the link, and it said that, you know, we currently earn over $350,000 a month, and that's very true. But I also want to tell you, we started our business, you know, with $130 17 years ago, with no credit cards, no one to borrow money from. I was a high school football coach, and we needed some answers. And that's why you're on this call tonight, you know, because we took that $130 and heard stories just like you're going to hear tonight, and we made a decision, and we did something with that, and we have no regrets because we've earned about $30 million since 1997. And so I say that as humbly as I can, but to paint a picture to you that, one is you're not listening to a talking head right now. You know, we don't have some little get-rich-quick deal we're about to, you know, tell you about. We don't have some kind of scheme we're about to talk to you about tonight. We don't have some little brand-new company that we're trying to launch, and we're all trying to get you to, you know, just dive in with us, and we're all going to just go make millions together. That's not the purpose of tonight's call. You know, I've been around Advocare, our company, for 17 years, and we haven't hopped from deal to deal and taken advantage of people and done unscrupulous things to try to earn money out in the marketplace through direct sales. You know, you're going to be looking at a 21-year-old company tonight and hearing from people that are part of a 21-year-old company that last year we did $650 million in revenue as a company. And our plan is, as a company, you know, to surpass $1 billion this year. And you'll have an incredible opportunity to find out more about that. But let me really tell you what the purpose for you being on this call tonight is. The person who got you on this call is probably really excited about you seeing the big picture for your life as it pertains to Advocare. And you know what? The thing is new people, just like me 17 years ago, I knew what I had my hands on. I saw it. I heard the stories. I was excited. My wife was excited, but we called all our friends, and we didn't know how to talk about it to them. We didn't know how to articulate things. We didn't know how to answer questions right. And so that's why you're probably on this call, because whoever got you on this call wants you to hear the story the right way so that you can take that next step and go, you know what, I like what I hear. I want to see more. And you know what? They can point you to websites that we have online. They can point you to videos. They can point you to how to get to the advisor level that you're going to hear about tonight, how to enter this business. They can point you toward videos on how we really get paid with our sales compensation plan, which is second to none anywhere in the country. And we can put our sales compensation plan, you know, that allows people to go to work tomorrow, each and every day, and earn maximum income. That means whatever your value is in life, you have the ability through Advocare, you're going to hear, to determine your own value and get paid according to your work ethic and your work effort. Because we do have a work program here, but it pays very richly to those who go to work. And so before I go on to my next caller, I just want you to really think about, you know, why you're on this phone call tonight. And if you like what you hear, what would cause you to take the keys to this vehicle called Advocare and pull it out of the driveway and get from point A to point B? And so just real quickly, some people are just looking for an extra $200 a month. And you know what? We can validate that for you. We've got a plan to help you earn an extra couple of $100 a month if that's all you need. Some people are looking for $500 a month. Some people are looking for a way to pay for college for their kids. They just don't have an answer. You know, I've got my son's going to the University of Washington next year as a freshman, and our bill is going to be $46,000 for him for 1 year. And so many other Americans are in those situations, and fortunately we have the ability, you know, to pay for that. The question is, do you have the ability, if you've got kids that you're preparing for college? Some people have never been on a honeymoon, and they just flat out want to go somewhere. They want to travel, and they need the finances to be able to do that. Some people are in massive debt. They don't have any answers. Some people just flat out also have an entrepreneurial vision, and they want to earn a lot of money because they got a big calling in their life. Some people aren't getting paid what they're worth, and you know it, and you just know your value's worth more than what you're currently getting paid today, but you haven't found the vehicle yet. Well, tonight, AdvoCare may be your vehicle. That's going to be up to you. That's a decision you're going to make. And right now, what we want to do is share stories with you from the world of AdvoCare. There's 4 people I have on the line with me that just really, in the last couple of years, I don't think anybody here has really known about AdvoCare for much more than 2 years out of these 4 guests that I have on the call. So, 3 years ago, all 4 of these people you're about to hear from, really, that may not have known about AdvoCare at all, their life is totally different today. So as you listen to their stories tonight, can you begin to see the future? Can you see 2 years down the road for your life? Can you see 3 years down the road for your life? And even just with mine and Diane's life, can you see 17 years from now, having a life by design? And so as you hear that, that's what I want you to be thinking. And so we're going to get right down to these stories, and then we're going to refer you back to the person who invited you on this call. And the first story that you're going to hear from tonight is a friend of mine out of Las Vegas, Nevada. His name is Jeremiah Captain. So I'm going to hand it over to Jeremiah. You got it, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to be on this call tonight to potentially add some enormous value to you guys and to tell you where AdvoCare came into my life in 2009. I had an interview with the Seahawks and saw that Matt Hasselbeck was an endorser. As I was released, I didn't really get a chance to put the product in my body. I then went on to play arena football, and one of my coaches had the 20 seconds of courage to share this opportunity with me. At the time, I really wasn't sure about the business, but I was definitely sure about putting the product in my body, and it did everything it was supposed to do, and I immediately loved the product, signed up for the discount, became a casual customer for about a good 8 months, and then fast forward, when I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, I was struggling as a coach. Everyone knows you coach for a living, not really as a living, and I tried to do some personal training on the side, and the money just wasn't coming in, you guys. Fast forward, when I finally got to the business builder level, I saw an opportunity. I saw more than an opportunity, guys. I saw the blueprint for freedom because people that came before me was living the life that I truly wanted. And within 9 months of me taking this thing very serious, after I went to our world-class success school where you really learn how to build this business, I became the highest guy in the state of Nevada doing this business. And last month alone, I brought in $19,000, and that has forever changed my life. I've been able to provide things for my daughters and give them freedoms that, no one can even think of doing without doing a vehicle like this. And my daughters really get to see me full time now. I can be in their life. I can sit in their classroom all week. And also, too, when they come home from spring break, I don't have to drop them off at daycare. So that's truly what this vehicle has done for me. And I'm just thankful that I had the opportunity to take hold of this vehicle. And really, I plan on taking this further than that because I know there's other people out there that are really looking for the exact same thing that I was looking for. So you guys have a phenomenal opportunity with this. I hope that you get back with the person that invited you on this call and really work with them, and they'll show you how you can do this thing just like all of us on this call have been able to experience with this opportunity.
Hey, Jeremiah, that's a great story. And, there's one point I want you to bring out. Tell these guys, when it came, you mentioned Success Goal, our company convention that's at AT&T Cowboy Stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play. You came there in August of last year, so that hadn't even been that long. That's just been 8 or 9 months. Tell them what you were earning when you came to that convention, and fast forward it to where you just said $19,000 is what you made.
I was earning about $3,000 to $4,000 a month at that point. And when I came out of there, I just saw people that were doing exactly what I was doing, and I saw that they were making great money. I saw how real this company was. I met the doctors and endorsers, and it got real for me.
Well, that's great, Jeremiah. It's a great story, and we appreciate you being on this call. And, guys, we're going to move on now to the South Texas area right by the Rio Grande border, and I want to introduce to you Dr. Manny Espinosa from Harlingen, Texas. He's going to tell you their story. Manny, it's all yours.
Thank you, Danny. My wife and I, we got started with, we got introduced to AdvoCare in 18 months ago, and at that time, I will tell you that my wife and I were in time debt. A lot of people look at us, and my wife's a physician as well, and they say, well, you have you don't need the financial freedom. What people don't understand is that you may not need the financial freedom, or you may, and more importantly, you need something that's more important, and that's time, because time doesn't go or come. It only goes away. So that's where my wife and I were, and I've always used supplements. I was still over 20 pounds overweight despite using other types of supplements. So when I was introduced to Advocare, I immediately saw an ability or a vehicle for myself and my family to be able to get out of time debt. And that was the most important and crucial item for us that the Advocare was, when it was presented to us. And at that time, from a health standpoint, I was able to lose the 20 pounds, got down to about a 33 pant waist, and my wife lost 2 dress sizes. And we had the energy to be able to start to enjoy each other. And what ended up happening is that the business took off, and it was by helping other people achieve what they wanted to do and those dreams. And what it has done for us, fast forward 18 months, our last paycheck was, for the last month, was $13,000. And that has just been tremendous. And I will tell you the thing that's most important for us is that my wife and I have been able to help other people be able to change their lives. And as a physician and as a surgeon, sometimes we say, well, I change people's lives. And I say this with all sincerity, that I will tell you that I have had more satisfaction, and my wife as well, that being able to change people's lives through Advocare, because it's a lifetime generational change. And as a physician, as a surgeon, I can only change you for the moment, but I can't put money in the pocket, and that might be really what you need at the end of the day. And my wife and I, where we see ourselves is, I want to practice medicine as a hobby. I want to be a part of my kids' lives. I don't want my tombstone to say great physician, but a terrible husband and a terrible dad. I want that to say this was a good man who took care of his family and helped others do the same. And my wife and I are on a mission to help the multitudes of people be able to have that. And if you're on this call, Advocare gives you the ability to be able to make that type of change in somebody's life is unbelievable. Like the MasterCard commercial says, that's priceless. And we are truly been blessed to be able to be part of Advocare, and we're honored. It's changed our lives forever.
Well, thank you, Manny. That's not bad coming from a urologist and also speaking on behalf of your wife, too, who's a family practitioner. It's a great story, and that's what Advocare is all about. Whether you're in a desperate situation like me and Diane with only $130, or with you guys, just suffering from some time debt and wanting to make a difference in people. This opportunity is really for anyone who has, a desire for change in their life. Well, guys, our third story that we're going to go to tonight hails out of the North Texas area, right above Dallas, in a place called McKinney, Texas. So I want to introduce to you Brandy Rupert, and Brandy's going to tell you her and her husband Will's story. Brandy, take it away.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to get to share our journey that started 28 months ago. 28 months ago, Will and I were 2 full-time broke parents of our 3-year-old daughter. And at that time in our life, we got on products and we had amazing results. My husband lost 150 pounds, and I gained my husband back. But what we needed in our life desperately was a financial breakthrough. And we always tell our daughter daily, champion choices lead to a champion life. And we know that our daughter deserves that life, and we weren't providing that for her. And because now we made that champion choice for her, we were able to pick our retirement date, which was February 14th. 30 years early, we retired, and our daughter does not know this yet, but we provided her the best Valentine's Day gift that she will ever get, and it's her mommy and daddy. And so I simply want to ask you, are you ready to make that champion choice today for your kids, for your wife, for other people in your life? And because we made that choice, Advocare this past month paid my husband and I $31,000. And that's not to brag on that money. That's to show you the lives that my husband and I have been able to empower. And there's no greater feeling to be able to see a husband and wife bring their husband home and see the tears in their eyes and their 3 boys saying, "Thank you for allowing my daddy to come home from his job." So I ask you today, what's the choice that you want to make in your life?
Well, that's beautiful, Brandy. And guys, you know what Brandy and everybody else is talking about? They're talking about average incomes, not some big bonus check, that we got. So these are real stories from real people. And just think, remember I told you on the beginning of the call, these people have not, been in this company very long. So you can tell just by listening to their stories, what kind of timing you could have in your life right now as it relates to the business model of AdvoCare, because everybody wants to know about timing. Well, what's in it for me? Could I do well if I got involved in this business model? Well, there's probably no one better right now to articulate that message to you than someone who just right at a year ago, finally found out about AdvoCare. But they reached one of the highest levels in our company in less than 9 months out of Roanoke, Virginia, where there were not even any leaders in our company. They basically have been pioneering the state of Virginia and have only known about this company for a year. So I want to introduce to you from Roanoke, Virginia, Rachel Witt. Rachel, tell them your story.
Thank you, Danny. Guys, I am emotional. I'm an emotional mess this month because I think about where we were a year ago. And where we were a year ago, I was just looking to get healthy. I saw someone that I trusted had great results on AdvoCare products, and I knew that she wouldn't do anything crazy. And so I said yes. But my health journey, our products are amazing, and they're going to work every time. Inside our 4 walls, it was flat scary, and nobody knew. I stay home with my kids, and my husband's a youth pastor, and he works so hard. Our church is amazing, but I wasn't bringing in anything. We were making ends meet, and that was fine. That's a blessing, I think. But then life happened, and my husband got very sick. And so when he got sick, we had medical debt that we had no answer for. And so I saw AdvoCare as a way that I could earn $200 a month, and I could pay Josh's medical debt off by Christmas. But that's not what happened, because, see, when you have purpose and you have this vehicle called AdvoCare, you can do with it exactly what you want and need to do. And what we needed, I did. In my very first 2 weeks, I had enough in my AdvoCare paycheck that I tithed and I paid my husband's debt in full. I stood in my kitchen, I wrote that check, and it brought me to my knees because I knew what I had my hands on was big. And so I made a list. 1 year ago, April 13th, I made a list of all the things that I had to do for my family. We had a house that we couldn't sell. It wasn't our fault. That house is beautiful, but it was a stinky market. And for us, what that meant is that we couldn't sell it for 19 months, and the IRS had a heyday with my family. They gave us a huge debt, $5,700, and AdvoCare was the answer for that. In September, I was reading my son a story during that time. Someone beat their horn in my driveway, and it was the lady from the post office who served me the rights to seize our property. I had to sign for it. I had to open it in front of her, and it was absolutely mortifying. Does it feel good to tell that story? No, until I tell this part. That morning, I had gotten a check from AdvoCare that was to the penny what I needed. So you have got to hear the opportunity that is this, because what if 1 year from now, everything that you make on your list, what if you've done it? It was a seed of belief in me last year. If you had told me last year that I would be earning over $30,000 a month, I would have thought you were crazy. That it's a product of helping people. It's a product of having a champion team that has belief for their family, that they know that they can achieve their purpose financially and what they need. And that's what we needed. So what I'm going to leave you with is that you can do this. Why can't you? There is no reason that you can't. If you have a list like I did, this is the vehicle that you need. AdvoCare has changed everything for my family. We had never gone on a vacation together. Today my husband surprised me with a getaway. I can't tell you how full my heart is right now. And I know that AdvoCare is going to be years and years and years of blessing families for us, and that is what I know, and that is what I see, and that is what I see for my team. Danny, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you, Rachel, and that's a great story. And guys, you heard, 4 phenomenal stories. So I'm not even going to tell you mine and Diane's whole story tonight. I gave you a little bit of cliff notes up front, and I'll just tell you what our why was. What really caused us to take action, because I was a head football coach at a local high school in North Texas, and I was happy being a football coach. My dad was a coach. My whole background in life was football, and so that's all I could see. So I wasn't looking for vitamins. I wasn't looking for AdvoCare, but I was looking for extra money, because when you're $35,000 in debt and you're in Chapter 13 bankruptcy and you live in a beat-up house and drive a beat-up car, you start waking up and realize there's got to be more to life than this. But really, what caused me and my wife to have our eyes wide open is that a couple of years before that, see, it really started a couple of years before. So that's what I want to end with tonight is my why. We'd never been out of the state of Texas. We came from lower middle class families, and my wife from a lower class family. And so we didn't have vacations. We didn't have a honeymoon when we got married. And so we had an opportunity I had an opportunity to recruit some of my football players on a spring break ski trip, and I filled that bus up because I was able to take my wife. Me and my wife were able to go for free if I recruited a certain amount of boys on that bus to go skiing spring break. And we did that. We went to Colorado, and I got on top of a mountain on day one of that ski trip in 1994, and I stood on that mountain and looked at those Colorado skies and just the beautiful sun, bright blue skies, and the snow-capped mountains, and I started crying as a 28-year-old man. And I asked myself this question: why? Why am I 28 years old and this is the first time I ever stood on a mountain? And I vowed to myself that day that my kids would be on a mountain before they were 28 years old, and I could do better than what I was doing. And then that was the beginning of what led us into AdvoCare, because we were looking for extra finances, and that's what made all the difference. We took that $130 and made $6,500 our first month in AdvoCare in 1997. We made $140,000 our first year and became debt-free. That's because we went to work. This is a work program that you're going to find out about. And so you're going to want to get back with the person, that got you on this call tonight, and you're going to want to ask them, hey, so how does this all work? What is AdvoCare really all about? Show me the company, and they can put you right on, the right websites, whether it's workwithchampions.com or any other great website that is going to allow you to watch videos, whether it's Drew Brees or Jason Witten or other success stories or the pay plan or anything that relates to that, basically any question you might have. They can point you toward real video answers that you can see tonight. But the thing that I'm going to leave you with is this. I want you to ask yourself, really a simple question here. Based on what you're earning right now at this particular time, does your income line up with your dreams? And if it doesn't line up with your dreams, is AdvoCare worth looking at? Because if it's not AdvoCare, what is it? Because eventually you're going to have to look at something that's going to have to line up financially with your dreams. Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people that we can help build their dreams, whether it's $200 a month at a time, or $500 a month at a time, or $30,000 a month at a time. But see, we can validate it all. We can validate the $200 a month dream for someone. But we can also validate a $350,000 a month dream for someone. So really, you have a broad scope of financial opportunity to dream from. They can all be validated in the world of AdvoCare. So what it's going to take now from you is getting back with that person and say, look, I want to find out how to get on these products. I want to find out how all of this business really works so I can see if this opportunity is for me and my better future. Thanks for joining us on this call. Get back with those people who invited you on this call, and God bless you.